have you ever caught yourself saying, why do I keep doing this? Maybe it's reaching for the chips after a stressful day, or maybe it's hitting the snooze button every morning. Maybe it's scrolling on social media when you promised yourself you'd meditate. You tell yourself, tomorrow I'll have more willpower. But tomorrow comes and you do the exact same thing. What if I told you the problem isn't your willpower? Your brain is simply doing exactly what it was designed to do. Today, we're going to explore why old habits feel so difficult to change and why neuroscience says there's actually a much kinder and more effective way. Welcome back to the H.E.A.L method, Habits for a Pain-Free Life. I'm your host, Madhavi. I'm a board-certified healthcare professional, a board-certified health and wellness coach, a certified yoga teacher, and founder of Prana Health Yoga and Wellness. Today, we're diving into the very first step of the H.E.A.L method, habits. Not the kind of habits that rely on discipline, the kind that literally reshape your brain. Most people think changing habits means stopping something, like stop eating sugar, stop procrastinating, stop worrying, stop scrolling, stop sleeping in. But neuroscience tells us something fascinating. Old habits are rarely erased. They're simply replaced. Think about walking through a forest. Every day you walk in the same trail. Eventually it becomes smooth, wide, and effortless. That's your habit. If tomorrow you decide to create a new trail, it may be difficult because it's overgrown. You trip, you get scratched, and your brain says, let's go back to the easy path. But every single time you choose the new trail, it also gets wider, it gets cleaner, it gets easier, until eventually the new trail becomes your default. That's exactly what neuroplasticity is. Your brain is constantly creating new pathways based on what you repeatedly do. Let's talk about the habit loop. Every habit has three parts: the cue, the routine, and the reward. The cue, that means something happens. For example, maybe some stress, the boredom, your alarm goes off, you're walking into the kitchen, seeing your phone. These are the cues. The routine then may be your automatic behavior, like eating, scrolling on the phone, complaining about something, skipping the workout, hitting the snooze. The reward can be something your brain receives relief, comfort, maybe pleasure, escape, dopamine. You see, your basal ganglia, the brain's autopilot, stores these loops because it loves efficiency. The brain is constantly asking, can I automate this? And that's why habits eventually require almost no thinking. So here's the good news. You don't have to remove the cue. You simply change what happens after it, the routine. So let's say the cue is stress. Instead of reaching for the cookies, you take 5 deep breaths, or walk outside for 5 minutes, or stretch, or call a friend, maybe journal. Eventually, your brain begins to associate stress with calm. Instead of stress with food, you're teaching your nervous system a completely different response. So there's a famous neuroscience phrase that they say, neurons that fire together wire together. So every time you repeat a behavior, these brain cells become more connected. The pathway becomes stronger. Scientists also know that repeated practice increases the myelin, which is the protective coating around the nervous pathways. Think of myelin like insulation around electrical wires. The thicker it becomes, the faster the signal will travel. That's why one day your new habit suddenly feels effortless. Not because you're stronger, because your brain became more efficient. So what about bad habits? Where does this come in? So here's something that surprised me. Those old pathways, they don't disappear overnight. They become weaker through the lack of use. So let's imagine an old dirt road. If nobody drives on it, the grass starts to grow. Eventually, nature takes over, and that's exactly how old habits will fade away. Not because you fought them, because you stopped feeding them. So what is the role of dopamine then? Most people think dopamine is about pleasure. It's actually about anticipation. Your brain remembers that behavior helped me feel better. So next time the cue appears, it nudges you towards the same routine. That's why replacement is so powerful. If every stressful moment becomes stress to breathing to feeling calmer, your brain eventually starts craving the breathing, not the cookies, not the scrolling, not the wine. It's incredible. Your brain literally learns a healthier craving. That is why yoga is such a powerful habit builder. Every time you step onto your mat, you create a cue, the mat. Then comes the routine, the movement, the breathing, the stillness, and finally, the reward. You feel calmer, more grounded, less anxious. Your brain remembers. And eventually, just seeing your yoga mat may begin to lower your stress before class even starts. Your nervous system has learned mat equals peace. In my H.E.A.L method, the H stands for habits because transformation doesn't happen through giant leaps. It happens through tiny repetitions, small choices repeated consistently, like one deep breath, one walk, one healthy meal, one yoga practice, one moment of choosing differently. Those tiny moments become new neural pathways, and those pathways become habits, and those habits become your identity. So here's your practice this week. Choose one habit, just one. Identify the cue for that habit. What happens immediately before it? Then ask, what healthier routine would give me a similar reward? Instead of trying to eliminate the habit, replace it, repeat it, and celebrate it. Your brain is always listening. Every repetition is a vote for the person you're becoming. Remember, you don't need a brand new brain. You simply need to give your incredible brain new directions. Every healthy choice strengthens a new pathway. Every repetition builds a healthier future. Every day is another opportunity to teach your brain what wellness feels like. Until next time, inviting you to keep practicing, keep breathing, and keep choosing one healthy habit at a time. Because healing doesn't happen all at once, my friends. It happens one habit, one pathway, and one beautiful choice at a time. I thank you for spending this time with me today. If this episode encouraged you, share it with someone who could use the reminder that lasting transformation doesn't come from giant leaps. It comes from courage to take the next small step. Until next time, inviting you to live healthy and live well. And remember, my mission is hope. Help one person every day. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.